Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So, I'm making this video because the concept of super conferences has kind of been floated around a lot lately, especially with realignment. And I think if college football were to go the route of super conferences, or maybe like one or two different major conferences, I think it would probably devolve down into the Big Ten and the SEC. So, throughout the major professional sports leagues, in the MLB, you have the American League and you have the National League. In the NBA, you have the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. In the NFL, you have the AFC and the NFC. You have a lot of divisions between, and a lot of, whether that's by conference, like National Football League, you have the AFC and the NFC, or you have Western and Eastern Conference in basketball, or AL and NL in the Major League Baseball. So you have some, that's how they just organize the league. So the Big Ten and the Big 12 have recently taken on a lot of Pac-12 schools recently. The Pac-12 basically doesn't exist anymore. So this was the Big Ten. You had from Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, all the way to Pennsylvania, Maryland, and New Jersey. And then, so this was what it was before expansion. And then you have Big Ten Conference West. You have USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Those four from the Pac-12 will join, looks like 2024 season. So one more season left with the Pac-12 before they jump ship to the Big Ten. So we have the SEC, which we have map here. We got state of Texas, state of Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. Ultimately, the state of Oklahoma will be shaded in once the two schools of Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC. So I think we would have much of the SEC. They've moved into Oklahoma. They're probably gonna, move into North Carolina and Virginia maybe within the next couple years. I don't know how well the ACC will hold up, but there's a lot of talk. Maybe Florida State, maybe Clemson join the SEC, which would be really good for football programs, but also good for other sport programs as well. So it's looking like the SEC consolidating in south, a little bit of the southwest down here, but mostly southeast down here along the coast and along the Mississippi River down here. So most of the South, from Texas, Oklahoma, they'll probably move into North Carolina and Virginia, depending on how the ACC, whether or not it will continue to exist within the next couple of years. So the SEC is mostly in the South, and the Big Ten is moving into, they have the Midwest, much of the Mideast, and they've moved into the West. So it's looking like we're going to have, and so we have MLB, the AL and the NL, West and East in the NBA, and AFC and NFC in the NFL. And within college football, it's looking more and more like the Big Ten and the SEC, because Pac-12 basically disintegrated. The ACC is basically holding on by a thread. The Big 12 is still pretty good, but I don't think they have enough kind of like firepower to kind of compete with the Big Ten and the SEC in that regard. They big super conferences that are going to form are the Big Ten and the SEC. Big Ten out west and Midwest, with a little bit in the Northeast and the South Eastern Conference, the SEC, mostly in the South, from Texas, Oklahoma, all the way to Florida, maybe up into Virginia and North Carolina if the ACC decides to no longer exist. So I think we have two big conferences form at some point, and those two conferences are the Big Ten and the SEC. I think that would be very fascinating for college sports as a whole. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.